Start off pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will get started. We have a quorum. We just have the consent agenda up first, which includes the minutes from September 25th and then copies of the township credit card statements.
I had no suggested changes.
Same here. I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Just, do you guys hear us back there? Sound okay? Yeah. I can also hear myself. Yeah, it sounds more hillbilly than I actually am. Sorry, that was a hot mic. So department reports. We'll start with township assistance.
So township assistance for the month of September has been just as busy as any other month. You can see the numbers on there. Any questions about township assistance? Looks like we're still doing okay for what we need to do in each category that we have.
You guys have any questions?
None.
Okay. Human resources.
In human resources, you can see a big jump in terminations and resignations. Those are just getting the pool staff off of the books for the month or for the end of the season. There was one firefighter retirement in the month of September, and then the new hires were all for the extended care program. I did add a new slide or some new slides in here. We broke down generations a little bit more. The fire department, you can kind of see, did a look back of how those looked over the years and how as we're growing in the right directions, getting younger people. The older people are obviously retiring, leaving, type thing. So just threw that in there so you can see that.
Yes, with bonus.
Yep. Any other questions about human resources?
You guys have any? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Parks.
All right. So the pool is officially closed. We've met with WCCD in the town of Avon and had the pool drained. We had a really great Labor Day weekend. And then following that was our doggy dip day, which is one of my favorite days at the pool. Right now we're working on winterization of all of our equipment and getting everything ready to go for the winter months. And then also prepping the floors of the pool for the repaint that we're doing next spring. And then as we go down to Pecar Park, our homeschool series has started again, and we've had a great response for that. Renee's actually added a couple extra days for those. And then we hosted our junior day of caring, and they were able to come and help us with the POC flower beds and then also some of our flower beds at the Nature Center. We've also been getting a lot of compliments on our new displays at the Nature Center. So if you haven't been out there, I definitely encourage you to see those. We also submitted a grant through the Park Foundation of Hendricks County to revitalize our discovery labs that we have there. It's just a more hands-on area for kids to play and kind of use their imagination, pretend they're a bug, that type of stuff. It's a little bit more sensory friendly as well too. Then as we get down to programs has been going crazy with their Halloween events that are coming up. I'm always amazed because every time I fill out this report, they have had more programs that month than they had the month before that. And so it's just great to see, with just 3 people, we had still 31 programs in our last month. So that's just great to see with only 3 people conducting those programs. And so it's not just us that are seeing how great they are. Our program staff was actually asked to speak at the IPRA conference coming up. They'll be teaching a session on all of their aquatic programming that they do. And so that was really exciting to be approached by the executive director and have other people see kind of the things that we're doing. Then as we get down, we are already working on our playground. We're actually moving along really well with that. We're ahead of schedule. We're just waiting on equipment now. We were reached out to by Lowe's in Avon, and they're actually partnering with the Lowe's in Brownsburg. And they are donating all of the mulch for some of our new playground features that we have. And then they'll be coming out and spreading the mulch that day. So we're really excited about that. And they've been very generous. They also donated mums to us so we could plant mums in some of our other flower beds. So the playground project is moving along, and we're still looking at maybe second week in November that we can open that up, but I'll keep everybody updated on that. Youth services has been going great. Our numbers continue to climb, so we are continuing to hire people. Our camp numbers look really great. We started fall break camp this week, and then we are actually going on our first field trip for camp next week. We have not been on a field trip since COVID hit. So that was exciting. The kids are excited to be back and doing field trips again. We're going to be taking a field trip out to McLeod Nature Center because our nature center is actually booked that whole week for wilderness survival. So, so both of those things are very exciting. Then as we move down, you can see marketing has been working really hard, coming up with different videos and all the flyers. It's hard to keep up with all the programs going on, but they're doing a really great job. Our revenue report looks really good. We are in a good spot for where we're at. As you can see, we exceeded our number for the water park, and we actually ended up making a little bit, so that was really exciting for all of us as well. Do you guys have any questions for me about anything? Okay, thank you.
Okay, fire. Jeremy. Everybody's sitting farther back now that we've got mics on it.
They also saw on the camera where you can be seen from the audience at home, and they know if they sit far enough back, stay incognito.
We may have to remove some tables then.
That's right. Force them forward.
Remove some tables, shut the midway wall.
Yeah. There's solutions to this.
Yeah. I think our employees are getting wise that it's on YouTube, so maybe they're watching that now in the firehouses instead of coming to the meetings. So in the first part, before I get into the rest of the chief report, we did have Alan Perry retire. We made the joke for Alan that whenever we gave him his wooden carved flag, that there were multiple dates that were scratched out. It was beautiful before he got it, but yeah, with all of his promised retirement dates finally coming to fruition, we had to chip all those away, put the new one in. But again, he did go out and he went out on his own terms. And, he had created multiple businesses, and I think when he retired, he had 3 active businesses that now he's going out to manage, and he had just started or inherited a 3rd one and said he thought it was time to move on. So good for him, and a lot of the line of work he's in is related to the fire service and skills he learned here or skills that he brought here. So we appreciate him and his time here for sure. With that, in the first paragraph, we have 4 laterals starting on October 27th. We'll have 2 medics starting around the same time. Our 12 new hires will be tentatively starting on December 15th, pending their acceptance into the fund. We've just recently received all of their applications back, so we'll be calling them in to get some notaries done, but also to fix some signatures and some oversights in that application. That application changed January 1st of this year, so we got some things we're working through there. In the second paragraph, to date, we pushed in ladder 144, engine 142, and engine 143. We're now waiting on ladder 141 and engine 145 to come in, plus 3 medic units that'll be here in about 2027 after a 2026 promise date. As it goes to the fire service and fire apparatus, I would challenge you guys to look up some of the videos online right now with Capitol Hill coming down on the manufacturers about pricing, slow turnaround times, maybe intentionally slow turnaround times that drive up demand and price. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's been pretty interesting lately. And Trustee Miller's sent a number of videos forward to show us some of those. But again, we're still working on a cash-based system. The rest of them are now worked into our CUME, where we intend on paying for them. We are going to let one go back to cash in the general fund. We were anticipating this year that we encumbered over a few $100,000, and that one will probably roll back into cash, and we'll appropriate that or work out a CUME as necessary, but that's at a future date. We've seen a slight dip in runs over the last couple months compared to this time in 2024, but we still remain over 200 runs ahead, and we'll see that at the end of the report. The increase in overtime hours due to some open positions, 4 laterals, the 2 medics that we've had open for a while, and the retirement. We had to establish a list, do a process in that time. Now that it's all merit-based, going through the merit commission and being a little more formalized takes a little more time. So we're working on that, but the overtime at least is in the right place, and it's not coming as much from the officers, the engineers, and the promoted positions. So we should see a decrease in overtime after they start moving forward. Station 145 is coming along well. I would invite you guys to go out there either by yourselves or come by and get one of us. Chief Phipps or I'd be glad to go out there with you. They're putting windows in it. They're getting a lot of EFS done on the outside. You can see the brickwork and all that, where it's getting closed in for the winter months, and all the interior work that's going to be moving forward. Pretty pleased with that and the progress they're making right now. They're getting ready they're prepping concrete for the drive. They're going to leave the parking area we'll use. They're going to leave that unfinished for now while they drive in and out. But are there any other things to report on 145s that you have, Dad? No. So we're pretty pleased with where it's at, though. No major hiccups. Nothing that we need to go work through with them. They're actually staying ahead of what's being noticed and what's being discussed. And Chief Phipps has been pretty pleased with the project manager they have out there. Fire incumbent training, I'll let you go through that. The numbers to the left, just to be clear on Chief Huff's report, is that's the dates that those things happened, just so you can kind of get an idea there. So that's what the 5, 6, 8, 11 is. It's not how many people, it's the date that it happened in the month. And then what's coming in the upcoming classes, and then it moves into some things they've done as far as classes they've been to. The one I want to bring up is at the top of the page there, called Senior Man Roundtable. Those are some trainings we have upcoming. If you ever want to attend one of those officer development trainings, this is going to be kind of the culmination of where we're at now and moving into officer development for new officers. But the Senior Man Roundtable, for lack of a better term, it's just the senior person on the crew. And they have multiple names for it. It might be first whip. It could be the senior man. It could be any number of things depending on the fire department and their culture. But that's where things should be handled before it gets up to us. It's us starting to manage ourselves. And whenever we came in year 1, early 23, we said we're going to figure out how Avon leads itself, or we're going to hire people to do it. And our people have embraced that. They move forward with it. You'll hear some of that. I shared a podcast link with you guys. Chief Huff was on a podcast that goes into fire department culture. He spoke a little bit to our culture, both from his perspective and his past experience, but also with the firemanship. He's gone to some classes with some of our privates and our officers. So he's getting a feel of what the culture is like, so he can speak to that firsthand without having to be us coming up here and singing Kumbaya. So I think that's a raw, unfiltered interview if you listen to it. And, he had no reason to think you guys would end up with that link, but I wanted to get that out there so it kind of speaks to where the department's going, the vision of our staff, and that's shared with just other firefighters. That's one of our podcasts that a lot of outsiders don't necessarily listen to, but a lot of people around the world do. So good marketing for our department as well. EMS training. We had our BLS A&R for the year. That's a lot of the reason we wanted to push this. One, to make the sound better for the videos that we have to publish by law for our government meetings, but also whenever we have 100+ people in this room and it's highly filtered and insulated with bodies, so the docs can present, we can see everything we need to see, and just updating our infrastructure to match what we're trying to do moving forward. Chief Weiniger also attended the Indiana Fire Chiefs EMS Leadership 3-day conference. None of our staff ended up in that as far as senior staff. We've been focusing on other things with our politics and SB1, but it's always good to be represented by somebody, and we appreciate her going to that and what she's able to bring back. The last one, flu vaccines. They started being provided for the township, park, fire employees, and their immediate families. If you guys want, reach out to Chief Weiniger, let us know. If you want to come in and get flu shots, you are welcome to do that. Investigations, same report you see every year or every month, total number up to 175. Drone responses, fire investigations conducted, they have 4 and 2. Some of those have been outside of our response area. Some of them have been kind of high level news stories recently with the missing woman and all that. They've been involved in that from start to finish. Pretty proud of that. We're proud of them being called out to assist in that. So yeah, they've been called from around the county and beyond, and they continue to market themselves and do a lot of the right things and push our department and themselves in the right direction. And getting out there and trying to hit 100% of our businesses. That was the goal when we added the 3rd position, and they're working toward that with the 175. If they're hitting 150 and up, they're doing what they need to be doing as a group. Going over to public education, a couple quick things here on school visits. We reached over 500 students. You guys can read the bullet points there on where we went and what we've done. We talked about Alan Perry's retirement, but when you get into events, Avon Day of Caring, 40 juniors, Laura had already hit on this for the park. 40 juniors from Avon High School came out to Station 144 with the cleanup. It was a good time. It was a good time for us to go out and reach out to them. Courtney stayed with them much of the day and worked alongside them. Chief Ipps and I went out and made an appearance and spoke to them and addressed them, besides thanking them, also encouraging them to looking into other careers and considering the fire service, as they kind of walked around and looked at the rigs in the firehouse and started to kind of ask questions and generate some thoughts as they move out of high school. Costco, getting out and about into the community. The events are what I want to point out is important. Courtney's been pushing the envelope on Pub Ed. We've removed some other responsibilities from her to be able to do this. But getting out to Costco to do extinguisher training, the canned food drive at Kroger was a huge success, over 1,000 pounds. There was some mishaps in that whole event. Whenever the food pantry showed up, I think they showed up in a van and thought they'd be okay, and they ended up filling about 3 or 4 vans full. Is that correct? So yeah, and in their absence, there was, like I said, some miscommunication. The crews showed up and worked alongside her, and they were just going to be passing out helmets and information. They ended up pushing the food drive, and I think that was responsible for a lot of the success of it, just having them directly involved, which was not the initial intent. Civilian Fire Academy, that's always something that's a good turnout. We broke it up and did it a little different. We need to evolve that to figure out what the best way to capture more people is. I think we had six applicants and 6 people and 7 or 8 applicants. Yeah. So again, reaching a few more people. We'll figure out a better structure if need be. This was something she wanted to try this year and it worked out fine. But again, reaching people, whether it be old or young, to educate them and or move forward to generate interest. And also the union will be working with our training group. Hopefully in February and March, we'll be doing a Fire Ops 101 as we move into election time. We've been encouraging that, using our facilities. And I know Lieutenant Cranfield, who's also was our union vice president, and how he's moved into the local. He's accepted another position and been nominated to move into the local for the county. But again, he's going to push that for the political side and try to make sure we educate people on what we're doing, what our facilities are, and what the job's about for the whole county. Park Square smoke detector blitz, 46 homes. That's something we do every year. It's always the same community right now. I don't know that was something that was already in place when I came in, and we've just continued it. There has been discussion on, do we do this elsewhere? Do we move out to other places? Again, that's by request. We still have to run a fire department, and going out and doing these service events are nice. I think if we had other communities that want to do them, what we might do is do a rotation and hit a different community each year. We could consider that. But again, those communities need to reach out to us, and then we can start moving that forward as needed. But that particular blitz was already in place. Visiting Avon nursing homes, another big deal. That goes along with the trainings that's down below there. She went to a fire and fall prevention class at MAID, and going into the nursing homes and educating them on how to be safe in their areas, educating the staff on what can make things safer, can also help cut down on some of the repeated runs that we get into whenever we go there. So Moving over to the last page on runs. Correction, I want to give you all total monthly emergency response shows 726 incidents by shift there in the top middle of the page. It says 244, 244, 260. I had mentioned in another meeting, it was ironic that those numbers matched, and they matched in a couple months in the past. That was Steve had seen the data that we pull from. It was just a formula error. It was hitting the same day twice or the same cell twice. That's since been corrected, so you'll see that. I mean, it could happen at times that they may be the same. Pretty unlikely, and thought it was a weird anomaly. Went back and dug into that thing, and again, the total numbers of 726 for the month are correct. When you add A, B, and C shift up, they're not going to add up exactly, and that was a formula error, but the numbers are correct in our data. So it was just the worksheet that was wrong. Turnout times and response times are great. Overtime, like I told you, based on the development in the beginning, officer, battalion, and engineer staffing have lowered, and now it's being pushed into the firefighters and medics, and that increase in overtime is still due to some vacant spots. Incidents year to date, 6,444. We're 206 up from 2024, even though we're down for the month. I would want to invite you all, as a wrap up here, to come in and look at a PowerPoint that we put together for talking to some of our elected officials at the local and now the state site. We just had a recent meeting with the county. I think that meeting was pretty productive. I think it opened some eyes. Steve came in and was part of that. And there were some reasons for having him there for relational reasons with the county, because they received some other news from some other venues. And today Chief Phipps and I went to a meeting downtown, and we were cleaning that up with the state union and state fire chiefs and asking where their presence has been and what they're doing about this. And they gave us a little bit of education because this ramps up. Next week we have breakfast with Representative Stewart, and we do intend on sitting down with Representative Thompson in short order. Trustee Miller's already sat down with him, and we've been talking about the budget, talking about where we're heading, and he's talked about some revamps to the bill they've already started on to help include townships. So as a wrap up, I would invite you guys to come over and look at the metrics, give us some of your input, go through the presentations, and let us know what you would like to see or not see as we move forward in those meetings and have those for the fire department. Then I'll let you guys go through the billing and stuff for EMS. I haven't gone through that, but I think we're on target to hit the 2.4 million moving into future years for our budget. This year is a startup year. We're already at 1.7 in revenue and payments. We are cutting off the other billing company. We're working on just offering out some cash payments to settle some of those accounts and be done with that, so we can get rid of the monthly bill we're paying for EMS billing. Any questions?
Thank you.
Don't forget, we haven't given up on Station 2 and the other 15 people, but that's all part of the presentation and part of the budget you already have, so it's not anything new.
Okay. I think we got the State Board of Accounts.
Yes. So State Board of Accounts audit. My apologies again for missing it on last month's agenda. But as we have all talked offline, the audit has been published. We do have the results this year. The State Board of Accounts did find we had a zero that was dropped off when our data was entered into Gateway, which isn't a big deal, except for the zero is at the end of a very large number, so that does make it a bigger deal. The important part about that is our books were 100% spot on. It was a clerical error typing it into the Gateway system where a zero was dropped off. So they did find that. They did point that out. The correction has been made, so the Gateway numbers are an accurate reflection of what the real numbers should be. So we're happy with that as well. So that's that part of the audit is done and over with. In addition to that, and along the same lines of how clerical errors can occur, about the time of our meeting last month, we had received a statement for what our audit was going to cost this year. And for anybody at home that doesn't understand how the audit process works, we are required by the state to have audits done by State Board of Accounts. That money is then what they would charge us for that audit is taken out of our tax draw, We don't actually get an invoice from them, just a statement saying, hey, this is what it's going to cost for that audit that we just did for you guys. The number that we received on that statement was substantially higher than the estimate that we were given at the close of our audit this year. So Ashley can attest, I was probably a little animated that morning when I saw that number, because again, it was a solid third higher than what it should have been. So I got on the phone, started talking to some folks that maybe had a better understanding of it. Ended up talking with Representative Sturwald, who he's heard some of the concerns I have about these audits and the way they do their billing in the past. So going to him was a continuation of previous conversations that he and I had had. He asked for me to include him in an email that I was planning on sending to get clarification. And basically the email consisted of the State Board of Accounts. The whole premise of their audit is to make sure we're doing good business. And as the trustee, as the deputy trustee, as the department heads, we should be able to justify all of the dollars that we're spending. And when I see that statement that we got, I can't justify that because the number was so far off. So that was the reason.
Can you guys hear me?
There we go. I don't know what happened. Sorry. Anyway, so of course, all of this happened the day before my family and I left on vacation. While I was gone, though, we did get a reply back from the State Board of Accounts, and this is where it loops back into just clerical error and the fact that they can occur. Essentially, we were overbilled 88 hours for our audit, which again is a substantial number. And so after recalculating the numbers, they told us what the hours that we should have been billed for versus what we were actually billed for. And it did drop the total price of our audit just over $5,000. So it's real dollars that we're talking about. I know we talk about a lot bigger dollars in this room, but again, it is part of my job is to be able to justify every dollar that we are spending. And so it was important to me to make sure that that statement was accurate. And I am happy to say that it is being corrected. At this point, we will just be mindful, since that information does go directly to the county as far as the property tax draws. We'll just make sure that the accurate number is sent then to the county versus the original number that we got that we were not happy with. Well, and I guess if I can still speak to that, as you all know, as everybody in the room knows, the amount of money coming in and out of our township with Murphy, with EMS billing, with all of the things that we have going on, the people that we have in place doing our books are second to none. To have actually thousands and thousands of transactions that are done on a very regular basis, and to have zero errors on our books, I think says a lot for the people that we have in place. And so I would like to just point out my appreciation to them. I've said it before that they make my job a lot easier than maybe it should be, but they do really, really good work, and we have great people in place that are taking care of our books and making sure that we are spending money, receiving money appropriately and responsibly.
Very good. You guys have any questions? Okay. New business, assess value. I assume that's what the AV update is.
That is
the
not.
audiovisual.
No, this is the AV updates on our agenda is audio video. As we noticed walking in the room today, you all do have microphones in front of you now that you've never had before. So this year it is mandated. We've been live streaming meetings for quite a while, but now it is state law that meetings are live streamed, both audio and video streaming needs to be done. In addition to that, we have opportunities in this room that we're in right now where we have, as Chief pointed out, a large number of people who come in for different classes throughout the year. So we needed some improvements on the equipment that we had. Once the state mandate went in place, we were contacted by a vendor that the state used to help us upgrade our audio, video, and streaming system. I'm happy to say that we went with a local vendor who, compared to the quote that we received from the company the state used, the local vendor saved us tens of thousands of dollars in difference in price. Not saying that the equipment that the state has is inferior in any way. I'm sure it works just fine for them, but I'm happy that not only were we able to get a more local vendor, but somebody who's able to provide us with the quality equipment that we need to satisfy the state mandate. In addition to that, we do have obviously the larger TV here that will hopefully help as we're doing trainings, as we're doing classes, as we have audit reviews from the hospital, all of the different things that regularly happen in this room now make this a better and more usable space, not only for our public meetings, but for educational opportunities as well. With that, we do have a rep from our AV company here with us. I'm happy that he did show up, and whatever it was that I did to mess up this microphone a few minutes ago, he was Johnny on the spot, ready to work, but so far, no other real glitches in that. But no, we do appreciate you being here, and appreciate being able to work with you to make sure that this first meeting goes off as flawlessly as we can. But this will be the new norm for us. Hopefully the folks at home have a better opportunity to hear the conversations that we're having. I know that was one of the issues that we have had. If you look back at some of the comments from meetings that we've recorded previously, we have had opportunities where there were different, mainly it was audio issues where people were like, hey, I can't hear you. I can see that you guys are talking. I can see that things are happening, but we can't hear you. So hopefully we've gotten those corrected now in a permanent basis where everybody will be able to hear us and see us a little bit better than before. So, as we have discussed, or if you heard previously, this is the last year for levy appeals in the state of Indiana with the way that the law is written right now today. If they decide to change that into the future, we have no way of knowing, but as it sits right now, levy appeals are going away. My understanding of it is the Department of Local Government Finance already thought when the law changed in June that they were done with levy appeals, but the specific verbiage that was left actually leaves 2025 still as an eligible year for levy appeals. So this is the last year that it's possible. As we have talked with Jeff Peters, and we have tried to navigate what the future looks like for us here in Washington Township. Obviously, you've had opportunities to see his reports with lit, without lit, the different things that he's trying to forecast for us. It has been my goal, as we've worked with Jeff, as we've worked with legal, as we've worked talking to legislators, talking to the county, talking to anybody who's going to have influence on what our future looks like. I want to make sure that I can go to them and say that we've done everything that we can do to try to make sure that we've gotten ourselves the funds that we need. And that's going from looking at what funds are currently available, what funds could be available. I've already spoken with the town manager. I would like to have a sit down with the town manager to talk about some different fees and some different funding mechanisms that the town has that we don't necessarily qualify for. But if it's an opportunity that we can work with them, again, I want to be able to go when Senate Bill 1 is fully in place and goes into effect. I want to be able to go in front of the county and say, we've explored every avenue that we can possibly explore to fund ourselves. And this is why we need the the lit money that we're coming to you for today. Because I truly do believe that we're going to get to that. Looking at Peter's forecasts, we don't survive without lit, and we only get lit from the county. And so those conversations are going to happen. I think it is up to us, though, to make sure that we are doing our legwork ahead of time, so that way we are not just leaving money on the table. And so with that, we've been working with Jeff and Nikki about the levy appeals. We do have a fire levy appeal and a civil levy appeal. These are a reflection of the numbers that you've seen in Jeff Peters' financial report that he gave it to us earlier this year. That same report was included in your packet. Sorry for a 98-page packet this month, but there's just a lot of information that needs to stay together in order to give you all the best opportunity to make a good and informed decision. So apologies for the extra large packet, but it's a necessary evil because we're talking real dollars and cents. And when we talk about the different programs moving forward, it is important to make sure that you do have that information. So with that, Jeff Peters sent to us 2 different resolutions, one for the fire levy appeal, one for the civil levy appeal. Those numbers are reflective of numbers that you've seen before with the plans that we had in place. At this point, I will pitch this over to you if you all have any questions, and we can go from there.
No questions here.
And this, the narrative that answers some of the questions that's in this packet
Yes, sir. Yeah, and
was prepared by Jeff.
yes, it was. Yeah, a lot of communication between Jeff and Ashley, the other department heads as well, to make sure that we're providing him the information he needed to paint that picture for us in that narrative.
And then what is a timeline of the appeal? Like, is there, it's just we make the appeal and we get the funding? Is there a assessment?
So it is due Monday, end of business day on Monday. So real soon is when it's due to the state. What the turnaround is from there, I can't say how long. My understanding being the last time that this is an option for any municipality across the state, there are a number of municipalities that are wanting to put in. I don't know if that's going to slow the overall when we hear things back, but I mean, we have a short window before we have to know one way or the other.
Yeah, so usually we will know before we get our 1782 notice, which is usually mid-December-ish, but we should know before the end of the year for sure whether or not we're going to get this money for next year. So
does Jeff have a feeling of approval, non-approval? No.
he's not very hopeful
Okay.
for it, but at least we've tried. We can go everywhere else and say we've done everything we
Sure,
can.
sure. No, I agree.
Yeah, and talking with Jeff Legal and Financial, they both kind of have the same feeling of with the fact that the DLGF already wanted levy appeals to be gone, but we kind of got one more opportunity, and the fact that there are going to be a number of municipalities putting in for them. Kind of the fear is that they're just going to do a blanket no, clear across the board, and then wash their hands of it. I can't say that's true, of course. You know, it'll be for them to make that decision, but that's kind of the gut feeling that some of the professionals in the industry are kind of feeling right now. So.
Any other questions? This is an individual kind of vote kind of thing. Is that how that,
Yeah, I believe that's right.
the way it's written?
Yeah, and then we need to be mindful of the check boxes on some of them versus the yays and the nays on the others.
Okay.
I can think is the fire one is first here?
Yes.
Scroll
Yes.
through correctly? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 101625-01. approval of fire levy appeal.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we each need to make sure we individually sign and in favor of that.
Mhm.
And there's 2 spots on this one to sign too. I would assume on the civil levy, the discussion is the same, correct?
Yes.
So obviously the discussion on the other resolution is the same for the civil levy, which is resolution 011625-02. So we just need a motion to approve that if we're in favor of the civil.
Any other discussion? Okay. I move we adopt resolution 101625-02, civil levy appeal.
I'll second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Same story here. 2 places to sign. And then will you guys just let us know when you hear something?
I'm sorry.
Will you guys let us know when you hear something?
Yes, absolutely.
On that one. Okay, next up is resolution 101625-03, approval of the 2026 township budget. Just maybe you already said this. Is that number is not in this number, or is it in this number?
We did include that in there with the assumption that we formulated the budget based on getting the levy appeal.
Okay. I thought that. And if we don't, how does that impact?
Plan B.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had a number of conversations with the department heads. So we have, again, I've said it in this room before, we're going to continue to move forward. We have to keep up with the growth of our community to continue to provide the services and the amenities that the people that live here expect and deserve. So we're moving forward. If we don't get the levy appeal, we do have, I guess there is really no other way to say it other than the plan B in place to make the cuts as needed to survive without the appeal.
On the levy, all of our plans for the budgets that you've all seen prior to the no lid, they included levy appeals for 25, 27, and 29 whenever we formulated our plan prior to this law going into place. So these are things we had intended on doing all along, even prior to them coming here. We found out it was still a vehicle that was available. I just want to make that clear because we had talked about it, but I don't know if we had gotten to a public meeting because so many changes happened prior to us coming into budget time. So yeah, it was in the original fiscal plan.
Okay. Any questions on the budget?
Yeah, you do have a copy of the draft budget. As I mentioned, is included in your packet as well.
Same thing with this one. We can vote individually and sign individually too. So I think we can there's only 3 of us, so it's not rocket surgery. So I'll vote in favor of adoption of the budget.
Yes. I was trying to find the resolution number. Is it a resolution?
Oh, yeah. It's 011625-03.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make a motion, I guess, that we adopt that.
Sorry.
Oh.
You didn't have that. It's on there.
Oh, there you go. Well, I get to scroll back to the top. That's the problem. We're doing it electronically. I need to print that out. That we approve that -03 resolution for the township budget for 2026.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. This one's check the box and a signature.
Yes.
Want to make sure it wasn't some weird one. Okay, any public comment or wishes to be heard? Okay. If not, it looks like our next meeting is on November 20th. We'll just motion to adjourn at 3:45.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.